Please bet on football games.
Hello and welcome to the Please Bet on Football Games podcast. I'm your host, Joe, because that's usually Alex's line, but he's got a Christmas party tonight, and I've got Christmas stuff tomorrow and the day after. And there's a game on Wednesday, and then another game on Thursday, and a game on Saturday, and a game on Sunday. So we just don't have time to pod this week. But have no fear. Alex gave me the update from last week, as well as the updated season-long stats. I have our Circa Millions contest update, and Alex gave me his general thoughts on picks for this week. So this will be kind of cool. You'll get to come behind the scenes. When we get to actually going through the games, I'm going to show my screen so you can see like literally everything that I'm consuming while I make my picks. And you can watch me originate in real time because I haven't really looked at the lines yet. It's only Monday night. So without further ado, according to Alex, we had the San Diego Chargers over the Denver Broncos laying 2.5. We put a unit, we won. Do I think it was a fair win? Absolutely. I think that we definitely deserve to win that game. That being said, that game feels like it was months ago, doesn't it? That time flew. There was just so much football. Next up, we had Rams over Jets. Rams laying 3. We covered by 10, or we won by 10, so we covered by a full touchdown. But that game was weird, and frankly, I think we were kind of lucky. The Jets didn't punt and only scored 9 points. So they just kept on going for it on fourth down and not converting. Matt Stafford played like shit again. Additionally, just all the Jets' fourth downs, they had open receivers and they were like this close to connecting. So it was just a weird game, and I don't feel great about laying 3 on it. I don't feel great about Sean McVay, and I don't like this Rams team, although I keep on getting value on the lines. Every once in a while, I'm going to peek over to my right because while we pod, I'm usually watching hockey, and right now I'm watching hockey because I got some money going on hockey. Next up, we had the Eagles -3 against Washington. Ugh. I mean, that sucks. On one hand, you're very fortunate to get 5 turnovers in a game, right? And 3 of them are fumbles, right? Picks happen. Interceptions happen. Like, you can handicap interceptions. That's a quarterback function. But the fumbles, that's chaos. That's random bullshit. So we got really lucky in that regard. But on the other hand, we lost Jalen Hurts like a quarter in. And while I don't think Kenny Pickett's a huge downgrade from Jalen Hurts, Kenny Pickett with no time to prep, no time to build chemistry with his receivers, and a coach who doesn't really know what he's got in Kenny Pickett is probably a downgrade, if only because perception is reality. And so all the players on the field are thinking, oh no, we lost Jalen Hurts, we're screwed. And the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, is thinking, oh no, we lost Jalen Hurts, we're screwed, we can't call passing plays. And that kind of frustrates the efficiency of your offense. So I think those two kind of balance each other out. And then, with a minute left, we were covering. We needed 2 more batted balls from the Eagles, and we would have won. But I think that's a 50-50 result. I think that's perfectly fair, right? There's a reason it's called gambling. Sometimes if you bet a 50-50 result, you lose. And so I think this line was correct. I think that neither side was really a correct side, if that makes sense. So I think we got about what we deserved there. Minnesota over Seattle. Minnesota laying 3. We pushed. That sucks because, like, personally, I got 2.5 and I gave out 2.5 to my Patreon clients. I hate saying my clients, but it's also kind of funny. Yeah, that one's tough. Best bet, and it narrowly doesn't cash. I think it probably should have. I think we were on the right side of this game for sure. Regardless, we pushed, and I can't be too mad about it. Tampa -4 over Dallas. Boy, did we get screwed here. I mean, the fumbles, the touchdown that was actually an interception, but actually I think it might have been a touchdown, but they couldn't overturn it because there wasn't any conclusive evidence. Because how are you going to have conclusive evidence of where a ball is when it's stuck between two players? And that's kind of the whole point of having the simultaneous possession rule that awards the offense the ball in situations just like that. So yeah, I think we got kind of jobbed. But we bet on Todd Bowles. Don't bet on Todd Bowles. Finally, we did win our teaser. We had Atlanta and Detroit teased by 6 points, 2 units, -120. We won, and that brings us on the week to a winning percentage of 50%. All of the favorites that we bet lost. Yikes, we had just been talking about how we want to bet fewer favorites because last week, week 15, we were so successful betting all underdogs. I think that's static variance bullshit, doesn't matter. Anyway, we ended up plus 1.5 units. So, despite only going 50%, bet sizing worked in our favor, even when a push didn't. We're up 1.5 units, and if we would have gotten the better line on the Vikings like I freaking wanted, we would have been up 3 units. Alas, 9 straight winning weeks ain't bad, is it? So, according to my texts with Alex, that brings us to plus 16.73 units on the year with a win percentage of 52.94% and an ROI of 12.53%. Real quick, I just want to clarify something. When we say ROI, we mean per bet. So, like, for every dollar, or in this case, in every unit we bet, that bet is worth 1.125 units. So, that doesn't mean we've made 12.5% of our original bankroll. It means we've made about a 10% profit on every single bet. And obviously, you bet in this podcast 5 to 10 times per week. So you're looking at like an implied return of roughly an entire unit every week. Pretty good. And that makes sense, right? We're up 16 units. It's week 16. Anyhow, I think we had a mostly fair week. We ended up profiting. Hopefully, I like the lines a little bit better this week. So without further ado, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I'm going to show you exactly how the sausage is made because Alex doesn't like his face being shown. I don't give a shit. Let's make some picks. First things first, we've got Chiefs going to Pittsburgh. Chiefs are laying 3. I'm using PFF, and as we've explained on the pod previously, PFF is good for a few things. It's really good for injury reports because I don't need the minutia of like every third string tackle that stubbed his toe, but I need the big guys. Additionally, it's pretty decent for line movement, where the money is. Not that we use these kinds of, market-based analysis very often. And most importantly, lineups. Now, we don't use the grades. Fuck the grades. I just like to see all the players organized like this. So, when I look at this, immediately I'm thinking the Steelers' offense is 2 things. The Steelers' offense is running with a mostly power run game. Kind of tough to do against a defensive line that has 4 defensive tackles on it, right? Like George Karlaftis, probably best as a 3 technique. Charles Omenihu, best as a 3, maybe a 5 technique. Mike Dana, 3 technique, maybe a 5 technique. Chris Jones, 3 technique. And they're all playing defensive end and defensive tackle in the nickel package. Tough to run on. You've also got Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill, who are both like downhill run and tackle type of linebackers, and 2 pretty big safeties. So running the ball against the Chiefs, not the best bet. Now, the entire Steelers offense is predicated on throwing deep balls to George Pickens, and George Pickens might not even play. So just quickly, I'm going to check injuries. Pickens, questionable still. This is where Google is going to have to come in hand. Hopes to play on Christmas. Depends how I feel. Well, yeah, that's kind of what an injury is, George. That's kind of how that goes. You play when you feel like you can play. So that's no help at all. Okay, even if George Pickens plays, he's going to be not himself. He's probably going to be a little bit gassed, a little bit rusty, and probably a little bit gimpy. That being said, if he does play, I really like the advantage just because, like, I love Trent McDuffie. He's not a big guy, right? I don't really care for Joshua Williams. He is a big guy, but if I'm getting George Pickens on Joshua Williams every snap because of the size, I really like that matchup. This is tough. Let's flip to the other side and just okay. Patrick Mahomes, eighth best quarterback, laughable. He's been not good this year. He's been not good. Um, Running the ball against this front is going to be tough too. And the Chiefs aren't like a great running team, but they have been able to use the run to keep teams off balance. You're not running against this front. Is this actually what they're going to do? Are they going to kick Joe Tooney out to left tackle? I think that's smart. I think they should. Mike Caliendo. I can't say I know a goddamn thing about him, so I guess we'll just take PFF's word for it that he's terrible, which means you're going to get pretty good pressure. They're going to have a lot of quick game. Quick game against this big, rangy, come up and tackle style of defense. I don't like the matchup. Everything is telling me to stay away from this one. Look, it's the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid. They're only laying 3. It'd be really easy to just say, fuck it, Chiefs -3. So I'm going to write them down in my handy dandy notebook. I'm going to write them down as a maybe, but KC -3, maybe pile. I don't love it. I certainly hope there's a lot better picks out there. Next game up, Ravens at Texans. Ravens are laying 5. Did I see that? Yeah, Ravens are laying 5.5. I hate the Texans this year. I do not think they have anything going. Their quarterback's bad. He's been really bad. Now they're losing wide receivers. This is the thing. They're so deep, though, at wide receiver, it doesn't really matter because Nico Collins is still awesome. And he's going to go one-on-one with Marlon Humphrey basically all day. And then Brandon Stevens and Robert Woods are like the perfect matchup of old dudes who are just pretty solid, no holes in their game. But then I have Roquan Smith on Dalton Schultz, or God forbid, Kyle Hamilton on Dalton Schultz. And I like that matchup for the Ravens D. And it's always tough to run the ball against the Ravens, right? The Ravens are notoriously good on run defense. They're what you call a pass funnel because it's so hard to run against them and it's pretty easy to pass against them that you need to keep passing. And CJ Stroud just is not that guy. You do not want him to try to carry your team. On the other side of the ball, see, this is the thing. What's his first name? Christian Harris. Yes, Bama. I really like Christian Harris, converted safety. I really like Henry To'oTo'o. Both Alabama guys, but much more importantly, both really fast guys. And I think they can keep up with Lamar Jackson, which means that the Texans have a luxury most teams don't. They can play base or nickel against Lamar Jackson and not be outgunned. Furthermore, really good cornerbacks. I liked Kamari Lassiter a lot, especially in a cover 3 system. Coming out in the draft this past year. Jeff Okudah. Wow. I hated Jeff Okudah when he was coming out of Ohio State. And I could not have been more correct. My head is so itchy. There we go. Huh. So I've got great edge pressure, but I've got great tackles. And then I've got kind of a weak interior, and I've got, an interior that'll match it. I love Linderbaum. I like Fa'alele, but he's just not panning out the way I wanted him to. Turns out there is a little bit more to blocking than being big. 5 is a big number. Listen, it's tough. I like the Texans matchup against the Ravens. I think the Texans are better against the Ravens than the Texans are against most teams. But I don't like the Texans quarterback. I feel that he is severely overrated. So I don't really think I have an edge either way here. Derrick Henry might be the edge, right? Undersized defensive line. All 3 of these guys are kind of small, kind of pass rushers. Undersized linebackers. Undersized bad safeties. Ooh, Derrick Henry could be the answer. But in a run-heavy game where Derrick Henry is the bell cow of your offense, you're probably not winning by a touchdown. I'm going to write down Derrick Henry props, which I'm sure are completely out of whack and unattainable. Ugh, I hate not having a bet for the Christmas Day games. All right. Fuck. These numbers are sharp. Thursday night. Ooh, in Chicago, traffic is going to be terrible. Oh no, I need to get home. I'm not coming home Thursday. I'm staying out by the parents' house. I'm not coming back downtown. It's going to be gross. Yeah, the weather here is not great. It's going to be a little bit slushy. Just warm enough for it to still freeze your bones, but not cold enough that we get snow. We'll have some brown sludge. It'll be great. I do love it here. I really do love it here. I can't express enough how much I love it here. Okay. The Bears are going to use quick game on offense. The Seahawks are going to destroy quick game. You also can't run against them because of those 2 interior defensive tackles. I know that a lot of teams have had success running against them, but if you watch the Vikings game, the Seahawks looked a lot better, ranging, shutting down zone run scheme. I do not expect the Bears to be any better. The Bears actually run a fairly similar system to the Vikings, at least in the run game, that is. It's both McVay-style run game. The difference is that Kevin O'Connell gets very creative with getting Justin Jefferson open and even Jordan Addison open, whereas the Bears don't do that kind of stuff and don't have receivers like that. Flip to the side. I remember long ago in August when people were telling me that the Bears secondary was like possibly the best in the league. No, Tyreek Stevenson is a head case. He's actually very talented, but he's a head case. Kyler Gordon is mid as fuck. Jalen Johnson's really good, but he's not like Revis level good. Decent safeties, bad linebackers, terrible defensive line. Yeah. Yeah, you got to do Seahawks minus 3.5, I think. I mean, it's maybe pile for now because it's 3.5, and I hate that number, but man, all the money is, oh my God, all the money's on Seattle even. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I hate these lines on these primetime games. They're very sharp. I think the Seahawks win. This might be maybe a Ravens moneyline, Seahawks moneyline parlay. That might be a move. At the end of the podcast, when we do the recap, I will go through that and see what kind of odds I can work up. On to Saturday, I guess. Fuck. All right, we've got the Chargers going to Foxborough to play in the grossness. Chargers are laying 4. Now, the Chargers are coming off a mini bye, but I don't know how much I care just because they're not a well-coached team, and the bye is really only useful for teams that are like schematically well-designed. So I think the Chargers' defense will look a lot better, and it's going to be hard not to. I mean, Drake May is going to be living underneath defensive linemen for the Chargers. Pause. Yeah, Joey Bosa and Tui Tuipulotu and Khalil Mack are going to just destroy Vidarian Lowe and whatever the hell else you want to call these dudes. Layden Robinson and who the fuck is Jacobs? I mean, this is pathetic. DeMontre Jacobs? I'll take your word for it. Yeah, so Drake May is going to have to do some fucking shit just to make the offense move the ball at all. And Patriots aren't going to score any points. Period. Other side of the ball, what am I afraid of on the Patriots defense? Christian Gonzalez is an elite corner. 11th is too low. Maybe delete one of those ones. And Christian Gonzalez is not going to follow Ladd McConkey. We've already seen it this year. Gerard Mayo believes that Christian Gonzalez belongs on the outside. He will not put him on a slot receiver. He didn't put him on, I believe it was Cooper Kupp. Maybe it was Puka Nacua. No, it was against the Jets. They never put him on Garrett Wilson, despite the fact that the Jets had no other receivers at the time, because this is before Devontae Adams. And they just kept on spamming it to the slot. All right, I love the matchup now. Ladd McConkey's going to eat because he's going to be guarded by, is that not Jack Jones? It's John Jones. John Jones is 31 and stinks. Alex Austin? Jesus. Who's a little guy to Houston? Marcus. Number 25, and he's really good on offense too. He should be in the slot against McConkey. He's the only one with the quicks to handle it. Doesn't matter. Patriots aren't going to do it. McConkey's going to eat. Justin Herbert's going to eat. The offensive line will actually hold up for once because they're not going against any real starting defensive linemen. I love it. Chargers -4. That's a real bet. Cha-ching. Also, watch. Gerard Mayo saved his job this past weekend by playing close with the Bills. Now these next 2 weeks, he's going to just suck massive horse dong, and he won't get fired because he already proved to the crafts that he's a good coach by hanging close to a Bills team that was sleepwalking. All right, Broncos at Bengals. Broncos are catching 3. Oh boy. I mean, that's the bet. All right, so Broncos, Denver, +3 over Cincy. Here's my handicap. Really simple. Go to nickel. All right, so you got Pat Surtain. He's really good. He'll probably just shadow Jamar Chase. And that's tough. It's a really good corner versus a really good wide receiver. They'll probably each get a little bit of their own, right? But you can't just launch balls up to Jamar Chase and like do the fuck it Chase down there somewhere thing, because Surtain has like good enough ball skills that he can just win those battles. On the other side, T. Higgins, who's banged up, by the way, is a much more surmountable threat. Damari Mathis isn't exactly the guy I want on him because of the height advantage. That might be a problem. I don't really think it is. And this entire offense literally just goes as Jamar Chase and T. Higgins go. I do like the speed rush of Bones Medino and John Cooper just because... Oh, shit. I just realized that I'm also going to publish this as a regular podcast, and my podcast listeners are going to be like, what do you mean? But you know what? You get what you get. I'm doing it alone, okay? I think that Bones Benito and John Cooper are going to get a good speed rush, and that could frustrate Burrow because Burrow is really good at navigating the pocket this year. He's been on a tear with it, but he's best when it's lumbering power rushers, right? The quicker guys can run him down too easily, and he can't really juke them out because they're so much more athletic. My guy Brandon Jones having a season, and he'll definitely give over the top help. I love what Vance Joseph has done as a defensive coordinator. I think the advantage goes to the defense in this game. Flipping to the other side, basically, if you want to score a ton of points on the Bengals, all you have to do is figure out a way to block Trey Hendrickson and get the ball out of your quarterback's hands. And that's exactly what the Broncos do. They're going to spam screens and quick outs and just like tiny little passes that literally any of us can hit. And it's going to work. They're going to get yak like crazy. I love it. In fact, I even like it money line. What's the money line on this? Obviously, shop your lines. Don't just use what PFF says. Don't just use what BetStamp says. Don't use, always check. Make sure you're getting the best of the line. But I think I can get Denver plus 150. We'll take a look into that at the end when we're wrapping things up. But I think that might be a best bet. Love it. Cardinals at Rams. Rams are laying 6 in the beautiful Inglewood, California. That's right. The LA Rams and LA Chargers do not play in LA. They play in Inglewood. It's tough to park. I ain't even playing around. First time I went to a Rams game when I lived in LA, parking was $100 to park in some dude's driveway of his house that had no windows. I was like, damn, $100 to get your car stolen? That's not a bad deal. Insurance fraud, here we come. I'm just kidding. I did not own a car down there. My girlfriend did. I was not going to get her car stolen. Please do not arrest me. Anyhow, I'm of two minds. On one hand, the Rams absolutely should dominate this game because look at that terrible Cardinals defense, a Cardinals team that had their hearts ripped out of their chest last week in overtime by the lowly Carolina Panthers, who beat them and effectively eliminated them from the playoff race. Puka Nacua should eat against Sean Murphy bunting. Cooper Kupp should be able to get open in the slot against terrible linebackers and a weak secondary all day. But Matt Stafford's been really bad, and it's nice that he's going to be at home. It's nice that he's going to be basically indoors and he's going to be in the warmth of LA again. Because these last 2 weeks, he has looked terrible outside. And one was in San Francisco where it's not that cold. So it's not really a cold thing. It might just be a Stafford being old thing. You hate to say it, but time comes for us all, and time has been kind of waiting on Stafford for a while now. Man. The other issue is there's a matchup problem. Kyler Murray's really fast, and this Rams defense is really slow. And so the Cardinals offense typically is really good at shredding slow defenses. Speaking of which, this is definitely the week that Trey McBride finally gets a touchdown because you're looking at slow, undersized linebackers and slow safeties against a freak tight end. So McBride, TD, sir. And, it's something Kyler's talked about. It's something he wants to do. He's after a Trey McBride touchdown. Man. I don't know. 6 is a big fucking number. Maybe just best to stay away. All right, moving to Sunday. Quick, let's just rapid fire some of these. Jets at Bills. Bills are laying 10. Bills are a wonderful leg as an anchor to a money line parlay. That's it. They're not going to lose this week. They had their scare last week. They're not losing again this season. Bet. Next game, Titans at Jaguars. Jaguars are laying 1. It's effectively pick 'em. Brian Callahan's job kind of relies on Mason Rudolph looking good. On the other hand, the Jaguars just finally won a. Oh, no, they didn't. They lost to the Raiders. They're that bad. Yeah, the Titans are going to win this game because they want to. Like, the Jaguars don't seem to care. The Jaguars are pretty broken. The Titans seem to care. At the very least, the Titans coach cares, right? That's what this comes down to. Fuck it. I'm not betting on the Titans again, am I? We'll throw the Titans in the maybe pile. Hopefully we don't need them. It's literally just an effort problem, right? They're both pretty similarly talented teams at this point. Which one cares to win? Raiders at Saints. Saints are minus 1.5. I don't know if that stays the same after Monday Night Football. Last I checked, it was 21-0. Let's scroll up and see if they show us. It's 27-0. Yikes. That line's going to move, and we're not going to bet on the Raiders anyway. So fuck it. Next game. Colts minus 7.5 against the Giants. Giants aren't that bad, and I don't want to bet on terrible teams. Fuck that noise. Philadelphia minus 9.5 hosting Cowboys. Philadelphia's pissed off about that loss last week. They blew it. Let's wait. If Kenny Pickett's announced as the starter, this line's going to drop a couple points, and I think that could be an opportunity to pounce if it gets below 7. But as it stands, I think the Cowboys actually present better value. Cowboys have not been bad, right? They have one loss to Cincinnati in the last 6 weeks or so, 5 weeks or so. They've been kind of good. Mike McCarthy's doing a great job of coaching, and if it wasn't for some bullshit on special teams, they would have beaten the Bengals too. Speaking of the Panthers, they're going to play the Bucks. Bucks minus 8. We are not laying 8 with Todd Bowles. I am sorry. We even have to look at the Panthers, but they're coming off a win in overtime. Bryce Young is severely overrated, and the Buccaneers are literally fighting for their lives. They're pissed off that they just blew a game they shouldn't have. I think they'll come out swinging, although, fuck, they might not. Miami minus 6.5. Well, that is a leg. That is a perfect leg. That is a lovely Carrie Underwood leg. Miami's gonna win. I don't know if they'll win by 7. DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson's a terrible quarterback. He is completely and totally inept. He's like all the worst parts of Deshaun Watson on the field, only on the field, not the off the field. But man, it's Tua outside in the cold. You know? Next up, Packers go to play the Vikings. Vikings are laying a point. And honestly, by the time this airs in the morning, they might not be laying a point anymore. This might be a pick'em or better because the Packers just put a whomping on the Saints. Will Jair Alexander play? Nobody knows. Him and the Packers are having a little bit of a problem lately. It would be really helpful if Jair Alexander played because I don't think he can really match up well with Justin Jefferson, but I think he matches up amazing with Jordan Addison, and that allows you to double Justin Jefferson. It's linebacker McDuffie. It's not Trent. It's Isaiah. He's a Boston College boy, so I love him. Nah, but real talk, Isaiah McDuffie's kind of slow, like kind of a lot. And I think that TJ Hawkinson will probably eat over the middle because of it. Xavier McKinney's having a great season, but he's not really a coverage safety. He's more of a thumper, and you can't really thump TJ Hawkinson because he's just too big. I think Darnold's going to have all the time he needs back there, and so I get the better quarterback with the similar coach, probably the advantage in the trenches, right? Because this Green Bay defensive line is eternally underwhelming, whereas I really actually like the Vikings offensive line. Flip to the other side of the ball. I like the defensive line for the Vikings, especially when they throw Dallas Turner in there. I think it makes them very dangerous. And the Packers offensive line is good, not great. Also, I just think that they're going to throw too many confusing looks at Jordan Love, who's already a dumb turnover-prone quarterback as it is. I think I get the better quarterback. Line play matches up for me. Similar coaching. And the X factor is Justin Jefferson. Plus, you know they're getting Aaron Jones a touchdown against his old team. You just know it. Oh my goodness, Vancouver has 4. I thought that was a 1. Yikes. So, I mean, I don't love it, but we need bets. Minnesota at home, money line over Packers. I bet you $1 billion that's minus 110 by tomorrow morning. I don't have $1 billion to bet, but I do bet. All right, Washington minus 4 against the Falcons. It's hard for me to wager or handicap this one because I still haven't seen Michael Penix. Nuts. I thought Jaden Daniels was not good this week, and people are going to laud him and just choke on him because they won the game and he had a really nice throw to cash it. But I don't think many people watched the whole game because he was legitimately bad for most of it. That being said, the Falcons' defense is terrible. Right? You're just gonna throw all those little checkdowns and screens and swings if you're the Commanders. And who's gonna come up and tackle? Man. That being said, the Falcons will run the ball like crazy. They'll run all over them. This is a competitive Sunday night primetime football game. I want to bet it. 4 points is big. I think I lean Falcons. I really do. But I don't see how the Falcons get a stop. I really don't. In order to get a stop, you need quick pressure or you need good tackling defensive backs, right? These are not good defensive tackling or defensive backs at tackling. Mike Hughes, never been a tackler. AJ Terrell, decent tackler. Robert Alford, not. Oh, it's D. Alford. Sorry, my bad. Not a tackler. Man, this is a tough one. I don't want to bet this game. I guess I lean Atlanta, but. Oh, okay. Detroit minus 3.5 at San Francisco / Santa Clara. Well, the first part of my analysis, as always, when breaking down a 49ers game, is fuck San Francisco right into hell. Don't like it. You hear that? The girl who does the intro to our podcast disagrees with me, and it's a sticking point in my life. I think the Lions are just an infinitely better team. You've got Brock Purdy playing like shit lately. I guess Deebo Samuel stepped it up last week, but he's still nothing special. The Lions will tackle. The Lions will run. The Lions are still looking to win first place, so they're trying. And I just don't think that the 49ers are going to get a single stop on defense. Fuck. I mean, shout out to my boy, Christian Mahogany, BC Eagle, who I thought legitimately had a shot to be a starter in this league. Maybe not an elite guy, but a starter. And against Chicago last week, he looked like a starter. Against Jordan Elliott, I like his chances of continuing that pace. Hell yeah, Dallas is beating Utah. We're in business. This line is out of whack. Detroit is going to fucking thump them. All right. It's a real bet. Detroit minus 3.5. Gosh darn it. We got 4 bets. We need one more. Is there a Monday Night Football? That is the Monday Night Football? Damn it. Fuck. All right, so we're on to the recap portion of our program where I have to pick one. Seattle minus 3.5 at Bears, down the road from me. Chiefs minus 3 at Steelers or Tennessee. And we're going to pick Seattle minus 3.5 because honestly, I think the entire Bears team is overwhelmed and just sick of themselves. I don't see a way in hell we win, especially day after Christmas. We're at home. They're on the road, so they're not going to be celebrating as thoroughly as we are, right? Bears team is whole. They're all going to be home with their family. I don't give a fuck about the Bears anymore. Their football season's over. Their coaches are all fired. Fuck it. Yeah, Seahawks -3.5. So that's going to be our 5 contest picks. We have Chargers -4 over New England. Denver +3 over Cincinnati. Minnesota on the money line because it will be a pick 'em. Trust me. Detroit -3.5 over San Francisco, and Seattle -3.5 over the Bears. Now, how do we apportion units? All right, we're doing 1 unit, Denver +3 over Cincy. We're doing 1 unit, Chargers over New England, just because 4 points is a lot to lay in a game where I expect a lot of field goals. I think the Chargers have a market advantage, and that's why I'm betting them. But I don't love it because I don't like laying 4 with a team like the Chargers who they struggle on offense. Minnesota money line, just 1 unit. Those are both really good, even teams. Detroit -3.5. That's a 2 unit bet. I adore that bet. Seattle -3.5. That's a 1 unit bet. We'll throw a half unit on Denver money line at +150. And then let's see. What are my legs? All right. Time to switch over to any sports book. Doesn't matter which sports book. I'm going to use DraftKings just because that's where I have the most of my money right now. Let's try to put together some parlays and such. So we got the Bills. That's somebody we definitely want to put as an anchor. And Miami is another one that I want to put as an anchor. So let's see what we can get if we just parlay those. Ugh, -170? No, thank you. All right, so we'll use the Bills, and that can move us, what, -485? Yeah, we can move a line like a point with that. Ravens? Fuck, still a little too steep. Let's go Ravens -2. Ugh. Yeah, the Ravens are not going to be one. We just can't get that to a number I like. How about them Hawks, though? Not bad. All right. Seahawks -1.5 with the Bills. That's -110. Do not mind that one bit. Let's find something to throw together with our Dolphins. Oof, I didn't know we were getting 3.5 with the Broncos too, though. That's nice. Dolphins, you need a dance partner so damn bad. What if we move the line? Instead of doing money line, we can dance if you want to. You know what I'm going to do personally? I'm just not going to have any of these bad lines. San Diego, I'm not laying 4. Detroit, I'm not laying 3.5. Seattle, I'm not laying 3.5. I'm just tying these things all into Miami and Buffalo, and I'll diversify so that I'm not too hinged on any one game. That's what I'll do. It's not a great week of football to bet on. It's a lot of football to watch, not a lot to bet on. Fuck it, while I'm here, Alex isn't here to tell me no. Let's check out the college football lines, huh? I don't care about any of these teams. Where are the real teams? Where's the playoff? Hey, we made a bowl game. And we're favored. Look at us. Love and honor. Yo, is there not college playoff this weekend? No, we got to wait until January. Well, ain't that about a bitch? Georgia with their backup quarterback -1.5. Kind of like it. Oregon catching points against Ohio State. Kind of like it. Hey, you think Texas will win? Penn State at Boise. Yeah, we know how that's going to go. That's fair. Okay, well, we motherfucking did it. I'm going to exit out of this. Finishing up, we got San Diego -4, Denver +3, Seattle -3.5, Minnesota. Those are all for a unit. We also have Detroit -3.5. That's 2 units. That's our best bet of the week. We're going to throw a half unit on Denver +150 at money line just because I think we got a great matchup, and that's pretty good odds. And then we got one more unit on a parlay of Seattle -1.5 and Buffalo money line. Boom. That's our bets for the week. Let's see if we can make it 10 straight winning weeks. I do not like this slate. I do not like how many favorites I'm taking. I don't like these games. But we're at a weird part in the season where you just got to keep picking, even though there's really not a lot of edge and there's really not a lot of competitive football going on anymore, especially as long as the playoffs have been sewn up this year. So with that, I say Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Bountiful Kwanzaa and all the other stuff. Whatever you get under your tree or menorah or Kwanzaa menorah, may it come with many bets on football games. And may we get our 10th straight winning week, even without Alex. All right. Asta.